In this section, we will talk about what division is, how to write a problem, and how to solve a few basic division problems. Discussing first its definition. With division, we're talking about separating something out into equal groups. At the same time, we're thinking about finding out how many groups there might be or the amount that might be in each group. With division, our answer is called a quotient, and a division symbol is signified by the line with a dot below and above it. So let's look at some of the basics of division. I might have 6 triangles, and I can break them up into equal groups. For example, I will start to break up these triangles into 3 groups, and each one of my 3 groups has 2 triangles in it. I have 3 groups of 2 to make a total of 6. So I can write this out by saying 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 6. Or I can even think back to multiplication and say that 2 times 3 equals 6. So within division, we have a very strong connection back to our other basic operations. So how do we write a division problem? If I look at a division problem example of saying 20 divided by 5, using our division symbol, or I can use the long division format and say 20 divided by 5. It is very important to note, however, that I cannot turn around and then say 5 divided by 20. Much like subtraction, we'll understand that this will not give you the same answer as 20 divided by 5, and we cannot use these numbers interchangeably and write them in any order that we want. So let's think about a basic division example. I have $60 and I'd like to divide my dollars equally per day. So looking at example 1, I will write it in a long division format and say that I have 60 divided by 5. To begin this problem, I must think about, well, does 5 go into 6? Is there enough to get a 5 out of a 6? And there is. 5 goes into 6 at least one time. I'll then multiply the 1 and the 5 and place that product of 5 underneath the 6 and then subtract it from the 6. 6 times 5 gives me 1. I'll drop down the next digit, 0, making this a 10. Does 5 go into 10? It does, twice. I'll multiply the 2 times the 5. That'll give me a 10, and 10 minus 10 gives me 0. Because I got a 0, my problem's done. And 12 is my answer. 12 is my quotient in this case. 60 divided by 5 gives me 12. So let's think about another problem that might not work out so well. Let's say I have an 8-slice pizza, and I'm trying to divide it amongst 3 friends. So for example 2, we will also do long division and think about 8 divided by 3. Well, does 3 go into 8? 3 goes into 8 a total of 2 times. Following the same steps, I will say 2 times 3 gives me 6. 8 minus 6 will then give me 2. Now, does 3 go into 2? It does not, so that 2 gets left over as our remainder, and our answer is written 2 remainder 2. The little r that we wrote down there stands for a remainder. Our problem's over. Let's take a look at another one where we might get a remainder. Example 3 says 19 divided by 5. Now the tricky part here is 5 does not go into 1. And even though 5 does go into 9, we must take a look at the 5 going into the 19 instead. And it goes into 19 at least 3 times. We cannot say 4 because that'll be too much. 5 times 3 gives me a 15. 19 minus 15 gives me an answer of 4. Does 5 go into 4? It doesn't. So 4 ends up being our remainder, and our answer is 3 remainder 4. So as we assess the connections with division, we think about why is it important? Anytime that we're dividing anything, separating anything, we want to do this equally. We want to make sure we're organized about this. Division becomes very important. We'll also make note that it'll become very important in the world of fractions, as well as many other topics.